Right, I'm joined today by Paul from the Kung Fu School here in Crawley. It's actually in Spindle Way in Three Bridges, I think it's classed as Three Bridges still. Hello Paul, how are you, sir?
Very nice to meet you again, Shelley.
Very lovely to see you again. We have met in the past.
We have, yes.
And I have done a few pieces about your fantastic school.
Thank you.
But you have a very special announcement for the people at the moment. Could you tell them a little bit about what that might be?
Of course. I mean, we've been very fortunate through, really, on my wife. She contacted Peter Andre's management team a while ago, 2.5 years ago, in connection with an article that was in the magazine, I think He to Hello, where he was saying he was interested in doing Wing Chun Kung Fu, or had done it in the past. And so she sees the bull by the horns, opportunity, and sees the opportunity, and she spoke to the management team. He came into the school, and we've stayed in contact ever since. But August of last year, so 2011, he contacted me again, really saying that he'd love to get Junior back into his Kung Fu, who's his son, and that he had an interest but wasn't too sure because he was busy. But really since sort of July, August time, Junior had 2 lessons, Peter had 1, was then bitten by the bug, so since then he's been fully involved in the school. Most of the time I go to his house and I teach Junior private lessons and Pete private lessons. But for Wednesday of this week, he was trained here at the school, Junior trained in the school, they both graded, got their grade, so Junior became an orange sash within our school, and Peter passed all of his basic programme and got his 4th student grade.
Now that's, that's quite an honour really, isn't it? Because there are other schools around the area,
yeah.
But I do know that Peter's been coming to you for quite some time,
yeah.
And it's really nice that he now feels he would like to get involved a little bit more, and it goes a little bit further than that, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, we've struck up a very good relationship, and he loves really everything that Kung Fu stands for. I know personally that he wanted his son to take up Kung Fu for the fact that it reinforces as a parent what you'd like with regards to respect for yourself, for others, discipline, self-discipline, that if you put a lot of effort in, you reap the rewards. And of course, anything like Kung Fu, martial arts, any kind of training, you really see the results of your efforts. And it's not, let's not talk about talent, it's effort. So he wanted his son to realise that if you put the effort in, you get the results, because he knows himself.
Yeah, because he's Cypriot originally, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
And of course, I'm very aware that the Cypriot people pretty much live off that ethos of discipline, effort. Yeah. What you put in, you get back, and so on. So I gather he's taking that into his training as well. He
is. Well, he's a fantastic student, and Junior is. I mean, I said to Pete that I would teach Junior private and we would just see how it goes, because I don't usually teach children privately. I father myself, I've got a son who's 7 years old, and I know they can have issues with the concentration if you're one-on-one with them. Mm-hmm. However, saying that, he's been a model student, so Junior, despite being sort of 6.5, focuses every class, is disciplined, so you can see through his parents that he's been educated to the idea of focus, concentrate, listen to teachers. And then Pete, of course, is a model student himself. Yeah. I think his background of dance and performing, of course, has instilled this mental discipline. Yeah. That he understands that he's got to knuckle down, he's got to work to it, and then again he'll reap the rewards. Yeah. And obviously, putting his name, allowing you to put his name with your school, that's quite an honour, isn't it? It is, it's very nice. I've sort of, I've not pushed it at all, and Pete said that he was very happy for me to say that, he's part of the Kung Fu school, he trains here, we'd like to support the school, and we've got a few things in the pipeline that we're working on, so I think there's even more exciting times ahead. And of course, it's just fun. I teach in the school that it's important to widen your horizons, that it's important who you associate with, what you allow into your mind, so that you're always positive. And to do that, you need positive influences. And I find Pete and his whole family a very positive influence. And of course, I get to see areas of life perhaps that I wouldn't usually see.
Yeah, I mean, his brothers are quite active. Chris is in a band, and he recently played a brilliant charity gig for Hugs. And I believe that Michael's going to be DJing down at Barmed recently.
Yeah, I think so.
So they're very active in the area, full stop. They're very localish, aren't they?
They are,
really?
Yes.
I wonder if they know about Crawley Happy Times yet, but
I'm sure they will after this.
I'll come to that later. Now tell us a little bit about yourself, Paul, and of course the Kung Fu School. How long have you been going now, and how has this evolved for you?
I've been teaching for about 20 years. So I started my Wing Chun journey in 1986. I did judo at school. I was always tiny at school. Not like the strapping guy I am now, of course, with my blocks on. So I took, I liked judo and got into karate, and I always remember my father saying, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. But it's a nice line. However, when you're smaller than the other guy, thinking, how the heck do I get the big guy to fall? and of course, I was a Bruce Lee fanatic. And Bruce Lee's main martial arts, the nucleus of his fighting system was Wing Chun. So because I was into him, I'd read his books and the books on his training. And when I saw a Wing Chun school open up about 45 minutes away from my home, I sort of took the dive, went along with one of my best friends who still is and we still train, joined the school, and from then I haven't really looked back. So started our Wing Chun journey, started teaching. So been in Crawley for about 20 years. We've had the full-time location here for, this will be our 7th year.
Wow, 7 years now.
Yeah, it just flies by, doesn't it?
I know.
We've got separate programs for our children and adults. The children start, we've got a program for 4 to 7-year-olds, and then for 8 to 12-year-olds, and like teenage and adults are together. We strongly believe that children and adults have to be separated because they both learn at a different speed, different material, they learn in a different way. The children has to be a little bit more sort of fun act, not with regards to just loads of games because we're a martial arts school. However, you have to engage with them a lot more, and of course they're not going to bear the repetition that's necessary that you put as an adult through. And of course, although we want them to be able to defend themselves, we calm it down a little bit. The adults we show an incredibly effective method of self-defense, but then we assume that people have got the moral upbringing that they're not going to just punch the person in the throat 3 times.
Well, it's a fantastic school, and I've seen some of your children working down there right now. Yeah. It's quite lovely to watch, actually.
It is nice, isn't it?
They're very disciplined, they're listening.
Yeah.
It's lovely to watch. I mean, obviously, I'd recommend anybody, if they had a child that was maybe a little energetic, bring them here.
Yeah.
Focus that energy into something good.
Definitely.
A little bit like what Peter's doing with his son.
Yeah.
Get the discipline, push that energy into more discipline rather than just crazy antics, which, sadly, if the child isn't directed, then they're not sure how to push that energy out.
Everybody needs direction.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. If you wander aimlessly, okay, there's a place for it if you're in the Himalayas and you want to sort of go and be a yogi or something, but if you're wandering aimlessly, then you're lost. You must have direction, you must have discipline, you must be busy. So I like the school to be sort of like a covert way of sort of trying to get people back onto a path of eating more correctly, thinking differently,
their energy in a sensible manner.
That's it. Well, and for people that lack energy, giving them energy. Yeah. Because especially for adults, I think most people feel that if they do nothing, they feel they haven't got any energy, and if they do a lot, they feel they're tired.
Yeah.
So it's trying to say,
get healthy balance.
Get a healthy balance. What can you do in your life that's going to improve that? And pan that out. And of course, kids have these sort of like this endless energy. Yeah. So it doesn't come easy to anyone. So
and of course, you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
You can.
Yeah.
I totally believe that.
I do. Well, we would like to thank you very much for talking to us today. Want to wish you all the best of luck. Want to encourage anybody to come down. If they'd like to look further at costs and times and so on, what's your website address?
The website address is www.kungfuschools.org. So it's kungfuschools.org, which is KUNGFU and then schools plural. And we've got a 30-day free trial, so that's for children and adults. So there's nothing to lose. They can come down, try the school out and see for themselves.
Excellent. And we look forward to hearing more about the progress of Peter and his son.
He's progressing very well. And in fact, I think that because it's being aired on their ITV show, that it will... that even through the TV people will be able to see a little bit what's going on, because they're quite keen, I think, to involve the Kung Fu within the series, because again it's a part of his life now. Yeah. Well, his goal is to go to Hong Kong and take his black belt in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Well, you've been to Hong Kong as well. I remember you sent us pictures a while back when you went to Hong Kong. You studied with the High Masters.
Yeah. Well, I brought my Sifu over here to the UK. And he met Peter, and Peter was bowled away and said, no, that's my goal. I'd like to get my black belt, I'd love to go to Hong Kong, but I really like a double goal because Junior wants to do the same. So it's a lovely idea, really. Father and son both taking their black belts together in Hong Kong.
Nice. Yeah.
What fantastic.
Yeah, that would be good,
would be fantastic.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, we'd like to thank you very much.
Shelley, thank you very much.
Today, and all the best of luck.
Thank you, pleasure to see you. Thank you.